What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the Northeast Georgia Real Estate Podcast. I'm your host, 𝐃𝐑𝐏𝐿. I'm excited today. I have a guest, Joe Nedza, with Baddies Burgers. So you do not want to miss not only hearing about Baddies if you haven't had it, but also hearing about his journey because it's pretty wild. So go ahead and dive in.
Welcome, first-time guests and loyal listeners to the Northeast Georgia Real Estate Podcast. I'm your host, 𝐃𝐑𝐿, and I'm here to guide you through the real estate landscape across our region. Whether you're a buyer, seller, investor, or just plain curious, this podcast is going to be your go-to source for local insights. We explore real estate trends, economic forecasts, and highlight local businesses. You can expect expert interviews and valuable discussions to help you make informed decisions in the Northeast Georgia property market. So sit back, relax, and let's enjoy this crazy journey into the real estate market together.
Joe, what's up, man?
What's up, Jake?
Appreciate you coming on the show.
Yeah, it is. I love doing this. This is fun. So thank you for having me.
Well, I got to start off by saying I love your burgers because they're fantastic. But we'll get into that in a second. So I know a little bit about you from the time that we spent together. So do me a favor and tell kind of my guests and my audience who you are, what you do, and kind of how you got to where you're at right now.
Yeah, so like you said, I'm Joe Nedza. I own Baddies Burgers, and Baddies, it's a super simple restaurant concept. We have one burger that comes one way. We'll do an occasional special. Like right now we're doing the pimento cheeseburger, which you got to try. We have one burger, fries, and homemade banana pudding. So our menu's super simple. We have two stores. I grew up in the restaurant industry, and I'm sure we'll get into that, but grew up in the restaurant industry. Baddies is the second business, like restaurant business I've had. It used to be Nedza's, and then I transitioned into Baddies. But yeah, here I am, husband, father of two amazing little angels, and business owner.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, man.
So let's jump back a little bit. So let's talk about Nedza's first. That was your first kind of entrepreneurial task, if you will.
Sir.
So let's talk about what was your inspiration to start that, and what all did that involve?
Yeah, I mean, I started it in school. So I was in my last semester of college, and I wasn't getting any job offers, so it was looking bleak. And my dad started a business, his dad started businesses. All of my dad's brothers were entrepreneurs. And so my dad, I think I was just raised to just question everything and not accept, which has like tremendous faults.
The status quo.
Yeah, just basically challenge.
Get a job, go to work for 40 years.
Go to school, like everything. So I got to a point where it was just like, okay, I can either continue to work in restaurants, which I love. I can move home, which I'm absolutely not going to do. I can try to find a job, but my GPA was terrible because I didn't study. I didn't care about school. Or I had this really, I don't know, it was just like a light bulb moment where I saw another business and I was like, okay, I really, I fell in love with this thing. And so I just started, it was a bubble waffle concept. So I just started making waffles and ice cream. I had never baked a thing. I never really cooked anything on my own. But I was like, I'm gonna freaking figure this out. So I bought a waffle iron from China. I had $300. I bought a waffle iron for $200, and I had to figure out R&D with the other 100 with what kind of toppings, what ice cream do you want? Bought tables, and then I went to a swim meet and started selling waffles, and I could not stop. So that transitioned to, I did that for 4 years. So basically I'd go to an office like this, and I would set up two tables in a corner and turn on my waffle iron, and the whole place would smell like waffles. And then I would just sell to whoever would buy them. So that kind of developed the hunger for sales and more business, being an entrepreneur. So yeah, that became Nedza's, and Nedza's was a nightmare. But
when in doubt, bring your product and services directly to the people.
Yeah, pretty much. That was it.
Well, good stuff. So when did you make the transition to start Baddies, and how did you come up with that idea?
Yeah, so I can't take a whole lot of credit. Nedza's was, I was talking to someone about this yesterday. They were asking me, how'd you go from Nedza's to Baddies? And what I said was that Nedza's was like you go in stages, like life stages. So when you're young, you're an adolescent, and then you become a teenager and you're emotional and you don't know what you're doing, and then you become kind of an adult, and then you become an adult. So Nedza's was like my adolescent years of business. And I said I was like an emotionally incontinent person. Or like anything I thought of, I was just like, all right, I'm gonna do it. Like waffles, donuts, biscuits, ice cream, cookie dough, fried chicken, like anything that went to my brain, just, I guess not out of my mouth, but like came out into a product. And I did that for a year of just working like 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. every day. And I got to a point where I was just like, Lord, I hate this. So like, give me a vision for something. And this concept kind of came in of just like a simple burger concept, where like one of my friends owns this concept called NFA Burger, and he has one of the best burgers in the country. He's really talented. His business is amazing. And I was just like, okay, that looks like way easier than what I'm doing, like way easier. But I was just like, okay, I can't transition to burgers. But then I kept praying, and one night I woke up and it was just like, you're gonna call it this, you're gonna sell this, you're gonna do this. And then I went that night and started selling burgers. So that was in like March of 2021.
Okay.
And
Post pandemic.
So I signed my lease for Nedza's March 14th of 2020.
Ooh.
It was tough. It was it was scary. But I didn't have a choice. Like I signed it, and then it happened. It happened. The world shut down.
Same exact time.
Yeah, and I was just like, ooh, I gotta figure this one out, man. So went and figured it out, and it was really hard. And so it was after I had kind of suffered with Nedza's that Baddies became. It was just like, oh my gosh, this is much better.
Right, simplified concept. I mean, I can imagine, and I've worked with a lot of restaurant clients where, like, no fault or just towards them, but they have a very expansive menu.
Yep.
And so I can see the inspiration behind, especially with everything that you were doing beforehand, where it was like doing this, making this product, and it almost starts to get overwhelming. And then you're like, man, what if we were able to just do one thing and it was fantastic? Yeah,
it's scary. It's like, I mean, if you think about it, like think of Baddies, the pimento cheeseburger. It's like, we have one burger that comes one way, but we're doing a special burger right now, and it's pimento cheeseburger. So there's not much different about it. It's delicious. It's just got this like my grandma's pimento cheese recipe. It's so good. People love it, and they're like, this needs to be on the menu full time. And so like, what if you add that second thing?
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, people loved that thing. Well, let's add bacon. Let's do a bacon cheeseburger, like a bacon, egg, and cheeseburger. Well, that slope is slippery.
It starts to get out of control.
Because it's addictive, and people love it, and then they ask you, and you're like, well, I nailed that last one. It was pretty easy. Let's add another. And like, you're not adding one, you're squaring it. So you're like multiple additions to, even if it's just one item. And so I have to tame myself over and over. Just like, all right, we're going back to one. We add a special, go right back to one.
How long do you guys normally run specials for? Is there a certain time, or just based on kind of feel from customer feedback?
Part of it's a feel, but for the most part, it's like a month.
Okay.
We'll just do it for a month and then be done.
That's good. I mean, it keeps it fresh.
Yeah.
So, now, we already covered kind of like you started your lease for Nedza's during the pandemic. So that's obviously a challenge.
Yeah.
What are some other challenges that you've experienced during kind of your business growth that you've had thus far that you can explain or talk about?
Yeah, I heard Howard Schultz use the term, or the phrase, that success breeds hubris. And so when you go from Nedza's, which is like, man, we were not making that much money, and we were working really, really hard. You go from that to Baddies, where it's like doing really well, and it's like I'm not in operations anymore, so I just work with my operators, but they're in operations, and you just get to this. I'm currently at a point that I never thought I'd get. Like 2 years ago, I was like, I'll never get there, and now we're here. But I think you start to see, like, maybe you sell like a really good property and you're like, oh, like I'm great. You can't cash that check. Mm-mm. Like you have to continue to like pay, like rent's due every day. So that's really hard for me. Like, I'm younger, so I see a lot of people around me making as much money or more, and I'm just like, oh, I want that. And as we're making more money, like, I have to tell myself over and over, like, to practice self-control and not to, like, let that get to my head that I know, like, because I have a great idea and it works. A lot of younger people will, like, it will create hubris. Like, you think success is all you're capable of doing, and then you just eat it. And I've eaten it before. It hurt. I don't want to do it again.
Yep. Well, so there's a couple things that I want to unpack from what you said. So there's the economy of scale of getting to the point where you're at now, where it's like now you're managing the managers that are in your business.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the biggest challenges that a lot of people face in most entrepreneurial, solopreneur, single business owner environments, because they can't remove themselves from the business. So that way they can watch the business and potentially start to look at other locations, scaling, bringing on new operators, all the things. So was there anything specifically that you did or maybe that you learned from either a mentor, or was it just kind of a natural progression that allowed you to get to that point?
Yeah, I mean, that's so tough. You know, it's like it just happens. I guess I'm getting to a point now where I look back and I'm like, holy crap. Like, here we are. I don't know if there was a specific thing, but more of just like a leap of faith. Yeah. And I was talking to the guys last night about this. Like, you hear growing up and in business that you should surround yourself with people who are better than you.
Absolutely.
I think everyone would like nod their head to that, but in reality, I think a lot of people are insecure. And I'm so okay with someone beating me. Like, if you can sell more burgers than me, like, freaking go do it. If you're better at operations than me, like, take it from me. If you can make a burger better than me, like, please, you smash the burgers. I want to like hold my kids. So I'm like big on giving people opportunity. But I struggle, and I probably will struggle forever. Like, I've got that, like, I know, and I can do it better. But it's honestly taking a lot of self-control and having what I call Mustangs in your organization. Like there's a Mustang and a mule. A mule will just manage. Like, they'll take what you've given them and just like kind of walk with it. But a Mustang will like kick in the mouth and run away. And I've got some Mustangs who I like really respect. And as much as I want to like get in their face and tell them they're wrong, I'm like, oh gosh, I can't. You know, like I have to grow as a leader for you. So that is a tough question. I know I'm like going in circles.
No, that's great. It's all good stuff.
It is like, that's the hardest thing for me. I would love to, like, I was in there today making pudding, and I saw people making mistakes, and it like, I was like, oh, I wanted like to jump out of my skin and like go fix this, but I had to just like let it happen because it's not mine to fix. It's someone else's to fix, and if I fix it, they don't learn how to fix it, and I need them to learn how to fix it. So it's just like this. I've got a point on the wall that I want to get to. Like, yours is you want to sell X amount, like you want to have this much real estate. Yep. But if you're doing every single deal and you don't have help ever, like maybe you'll get there, but like at what cost? Like your marriage.
Yeah, you're miserable.
Yeah, and I don't want that. You know, I want to empower others to like. It feels better for me that other people make money than me making money. Like, I don't really care about money.
Well, there's a couple quotes that I want to throw in there. So Dan Sullivan's book, Who Not How, is a great example of what you just talked about. Yeah. So having the right butt in the right seat that's capable of doing everything that you just mentioned.
I gotta write this down.
So it's phenomenal.
I'm a big book guy.
Yeah. And then Stephen Covey, he talks about, I just lost my thought on that, but it'll come back to me.
Is it habits?
It might be. I don't remember where I was going with that second point.
Did I mess you up by grabbing my journal?
No, not at all. No, I was running in 6 different directions, so it doesn't matter.
Who Not How.
Who Not How is great because it talks about ensuring that, like, yes, you're capable of doing the job, but essentially if you can get 1 or 2 people that are doing the job at a 70 or 80% success rate, that's better than you doing said job.
Correct. I mean, that's like totally makes sense. And but that's hard. Yeah. And I think that's why a lot of people like just have one business forever. Yeah. Like one store, and they can't let go. And I'm like, I have a huge vision, so I have to.
So speaking of huge vision, we've touched on this a little bit when we met. Do you want to talk about what that looks like over the long term of like where you see kind of that bullseye?
For sure. I don't know if I told you this, but this is just something I've always thought. When I was younger, like a little kid, I would imagine having a magic genie lamp that if I could rub it and a genie came out, and I had 3 wishes. My first wish would be that you took all the money in the world and you multiplied it by 2 and gave me half of it. So you're not taking money from anyone, but I have half of the world's like cash. And then my second wish was that I had infinity wishes. So like big picture significance is always, and that's like one of my strengths on StrengthsFinder is significance. That's like number 2 for me. I'm like a huge significance. I want a huge story. But over time, that has kind of transformed and evolved. But yeah, I mean, like I've always wanted a big thing. So Baddies, what I desire, Nedza. So Nedza's is the parent company. Nedza's owns Baddies. Nedza's, what I desire from it is a lot like Berkshire Hathaway. So that I would own, starting with Baddies, 3 cash cows. So Baddies, there's a chicken concept I want to do, and then a third, maybe taco or coffee concept. Not tacos and coffee. Tacos or coffee. So a taco or coffee concept that can scale. They all 3 have economies of scale. Mm-hmm. And with the cash flows of those, like what Warren Buffett did with insurance companies, allowed his cash payoff, his dividends, allowed him to buy other privately traded companies and just grow vertical and horizontal. So that's my goal. And by funding it myself with my businesses, because I know restaurants, it's not like, I am passionate about it, but it doesn't like get me up. Like I don't just like love restaurants. I love building people. Yeah. And so I started it like a business because I wanted to build summer camps one day. So eventually, when down the road, I want to build summer camps and just start like developing young kids. And then there's like I have like a missions idea with like building orphanages and
that's awesome.
Third world countries, yeah.
That's true legacy stuff right there.
That's the hope. That's the plan. Yeah. So we'll see. But that's the vision.
Well, good stuff. So we talked about some of the challenges that you went through. Obviously, where you've gotten to this point would clearly be labeled as a success. What are some other successes that have stuck out in your mind through the process? You're like, man, this was such a good win that you can think about.
Man, I just think like our mission is to build strong men and women through leadership development. That is what we want to do. We want to see a world where, this sounds crazy, but I genuinely, like, my goal is like world changing. So what breaks my heart is divorce and bad parents. Like I hate when kids suffer because it's not their fault. So my parents went through a divorce, so like I'm the product of it, and it's just like, man, like the pain that causes children is unbelievable. So seeing some of the boys that come in to Baddies who have like a kind of an idea of what it means to be like a real man grow. Like watching them grow is the most life-giving thing that I've ever done, and also having people that share in my vision. So like other men who care about the things, and women who care about the things that I care about, and just like sending people to like be good husbands and fathers and wives and mothers and friends. Now there's like multiple people going towards that goal instead of just me. Mm-hmm. So that's been a huge burden lift for me. And then getting to a point where I'm not in ops is just like, it's so stressful when you're in it every single day, all the time.
They call it in the weeds for a reason.
Yeah, 100%. So super in the weeds. I was in the weeds for almost a decade, and I don't have to anymore. I like to get in there and like help, but being the one who like every single thing falls on is tough. So not having to do that and having like really good operators is a huge win for me. And then, yeah, we're looking at like a third store, and we have an operator selected for that one. So I would say those are like the 2 biggest. I just get to spend more time with my wife and kids now. It's like it's It's unbelievable.
Yeah, that's the ultimate work-life balance that everybody always chases.
Yeah.
The elusive unicorn.
No, I know. She is elusive.
So with you guys, obviously you having kind of community roots here in the Athens area, and your stores are here. What other ties to the community do you have, or organizations or anything like that you guys are involved with?
Yeah, so I'm gonna be honest, like Athens is tough. I've lived here for 11 years now, and for 9 of those 11, I was like begging, I was dying to leave. I just didn't like Athens. It's cool, but it's transient, so it's really hard to make deep roots.
Yeah.
Especially if you're like the 24 to 32 year range, like there aren't many of us. You graduate and then you leave. Mm-hmm. That's typical. And a lot of people come back at like 35. And so I was just like, for about a decade, I'm like, what do I do here? Like I'm trying, but I found it was so difficult for me to get deep roots. And then we found this church. It's called Calvary. It's the best. Calvary Bible Church. It's on Tallahassee Road. It's amazing. So that is like a deep root one. That's how we're like really involved in the community. There's a lot of parents whose kids go like live in Oconee.
Yep.
So we're just starting that, like pouring into younger people right now, and getting involved that way. We're involved, my wife and I are involved with Cafe 1040, which is like a missions organization, and then just like the schools, and then we have a lot of college students who work for us who are like, they're hurting, they're struggling.
Yeah.
And so I would say that's where I like pour all my time and energy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, those are the ones.
It's always good to have that positive outlet. I mean, I think it kind of goes hand in hand with what your passion is, like leading and developing people.
Yeah.
And being able to not necessarily give them the path, but show them that there are capable paths that they could take depending on what it is that they want to do.
Well, it's interesting. I'm like I'm not a developer.
No?
Like I'm not good at it.
Okay.
I'm not naturally good at it, but I love it. Which like I think growing up I was like naturally athletic, so like good at sports without really trying, which made me lazy at it. Because I was just like, we're big, like you're huge. And so like I'm taller. I was always like 5 inches taller than everyone in my grade and 50 pounds heavier. So I just like whipped up on kids in every sport. But then when they caught up, my work ethic went away. Or I didn't have work ethic. I was just naturally good at it, but they like worked for it.
They had talent to go with it.
They had some talent, but a lot of work ethic. I had a lot of talent and no work ethic.
Gotcha.
And so with developing people, it's kind of the opposite, where like I'm really impatient. I don't have a lot of empathy. And you need patience and empathy when you want to develop people. Yeah. And so I think because I am like so naturally terrible at it, I'm just like not natural at like whatsoever at building people, that I love it. And I'm like, oh, I really want to get good at this because this is like so life-giving and fun.
Yeah, very rewarding.
Oh, super, super rewarding. But yeah, I'm not. Just like for anyone out there, I'm horrible at it. So, yeah.
Now, before we wrap up, I always like trying to tap into like the mindset of an entrepreneur. So anybody that's watching this, that maybe they have an idea, maybe they have already failed on a couple of their first ideas. What advice or golden nugget could you possibly give to somebody else that's at like maybe the beginning part of their journey, or maybe they've hit some of those struggles and challenges throughout what they're currently going through?
Yeah, I was listening to, I use a lot of biblical references, so just bear with me. But I was listening to a podcast this morning, and one of the guys was talking about how the Lord has given you what you need. You just don't know it because you're looking for like whatever that next thing is. So for me, it was like, I thought I was going to go build an app, but I've been working in restaurants since I was 13, and it's just like one of my employees actually said that there's no dignity in restaurant work. Like it's not he's not proud to say he works in a restaurant. I'm like, dude, I love it. Like I'm really proud of what we do. So I think there's people, but that was how I felt when I just started my first business. And then it just hit me like, oh, I'm already in the thing that I kind of like do love this thing. So what I would say is you're probably kind of close to doing the thing that you like doing. You just don't realize it. Like you're doing it from the wrong angle. So for me, I can only speak for me. I can't speak for anyone else because I don't know what their thing is, but I love talking about this. I think the biggest thing for me is I really love people, and I love seeing people grow, and I'm all about like building like a big future for people. And so like with restaurants, you have high contact. So I get to deal with a lot of people. We're a high volume restaurant. So I have so many customers I just get to know. And I love that. Like my personality is great for like high interaction with a ton of people.
Yeah, we have the same in our industry as well, just on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, and it's like, to me, I love that. So that's one. I love sales, and like I get like a little dopamine hit every burger I sell. And so like when you look and you see a couple hundred burgers sold, you're like, oh, like that's fun. So sales is like big, and then developing people. A lot of people who work in restaurants, like they don't know what they want to do. And so you get to kind of like mold them and shape them into what like the future that you see could be possible for them. So the biggest thing for me, I know that was like a roundabout answer, is you probably already do know what you're passionate about. It's probably not traveling. It's probably not like working out or something. Like you may love that, but there's probably something in your life that like does fire you up. You just need to find a way to monetize it. And so like for me, that's restaurants. Like I love the restaurant, like hospitality. Restaurants are how I monetize hospitality. So that's the big one. And then the other one is like, I have so many. I'm like scattered on this. So I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
But I love talking about this. And it's cool because I just recently found like our principles. Like in the past year, we developed our principles. And really what our principles are like things that I love, things that I'm super passionate about. So like integrity, wisdom, ownership, respect, positive attitude. Those come from like, I don't want to work with someone who complains when it's busy. When it's going, like when the tough is going, I want you to go.
Yeah, good effort.
With a good attitude. And so like, I put that into my business. So it's like if you go to our website, the acronym for our principles is worship. And P is positive attitude. That's one of them. And like, I can't have people in my restaurants who complain. I just like can't do it. I'm like, you gotta go. You can go work somewhere else, but like you can't be here. I think like figuring a baseline of what you're super passionate about in your life, like the things that drive you crazy. So like when someone doesn't have these things, it bothers you. How do you bring that into like your business? And then you can build something, you can build anything from that. So that's so hard. And I didn't fully answer, but like, man, I don't.
No, that's good. Good stuff right there.
Yeah, sorry.
No worries at all. So as we wrap up, if you guys have not eaten at Baddies, you definitely need to go check that off your list. If anybody wants to follow you guys on social or check you out, how do they go about doing that?
Yeah, it's just Eat Baddies. And below the username or whatever will be like Baddies Burgers. It's Eat Baddies username, and then our name is Baddies Burgers. So our little logo's this little smiley face guy that you probably can't see from there. But that's our logo. Come see us.
And they got 2 locations, one in 5 Points and the other one's over on Butler's Crossing.
Yeah, Experiment Station. Yeah. Experiment Road? Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
There's a lot of traffic.
Yes, they're widening that road currently.
Thank God.
All right, so make sure to go check out Baddies and give Joe some feedback, man.
Yeah, please.
Appreciate it, buddy.
Thanks, man.
We'll see you guys on the next episode of the Northeast Georgia Real Estate Podcast.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Northeast Georgia Real Estate Podcast. Now, I need your help, guys. I am working towards an absolutely massive goal for next year of creating new opportunities that will allow me to not only serve my clients better, but help them achieve their commercial real estate goals as well. Key focus for 2025 is going to be for me to acquire 2 additional commercial properties, further expanding my investment portfolio and my impact in our community. This journey will allow me the freedom to spend more quality time with my family, which is the end goal. I'm sharing this in hopes of being able to connect with others who align with this vision. So if that's you, whether it's through partnerships, investing, networking, or new business opportunities, please let's connect and build something together. Thank you.